First came the Bombshell allegations. Now, the Commission has spoken. Mchunu is firing back and President Ramaphosa is still in the hot seat. The Mkhwanazi storm is far from over. Here's why. Spread the fire. Welcome back to SMWX, or the Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh experience for long. My name is Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh, and on this channel, which is booming and exploding with hundreds of thousands of views in every video, we explore South African politics through interviews and analysis. SMWX fam, I just want to say thank you for the way that you are supporting this channel and helping it to grow. Okay, once again, we have been following the Mkhwanazi era in painstaking detail, and I want to give you some further insights because the story is getting more and more curious as we go along. In today's episode, I'd like to focus on a few things. The first thing is that the Commission of Inquiry that is looking into Mkhwanazi's allegations held a press conference, and we heard from Justice Madlanga, who is the judge who is leading this commission. I want to take you through some of the key things that were said and extract the most important essence of that press conference for you. Because in order to get where we want to go, we need to understand that commission's press briefing. Then I want to talk about some new reporting that has happened around Brown Mogotsi and also some statements by former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. And this is in connection with the way that the state has been grappling with state capture and his disappointment over that. And then finally, I want to talk about this constitutional court case, which in some ways involves this Mkhwanazi scandal, because it's about how Senzo Mchunu, not Meyiwa, if you watched the last video, you know what I mean, how Minister Senzo Mchunu was dismissed as a result of, or at least placed on special leave as a result of this Mkhwanazi case. And now there's a big case at the Con Court, which is going to be deciding whether the placement on special leave was constitutional, whether the appointment of an acting minister from outside the National Assembly is constitutional, and the appointment of the committee itself is constitutional. There are also some developments with the DJ Sumbody case, which relates back to these Mkhwanazi allegations. So sit back, relax, let's go on another ride together as we explore the drama that is South African politics. So let's kick off, and interestingly, as we get onto this Commission of Inquiry and how it has responded, I want you to take first a look at the kind of things that the minister who was placed on special leave, Senzo Mchunu, said, because he has actually been responding in a number of different places in this court case, but also he responded to the SABC. And I want you to take a look at this clip because it gives us an interesting insight into what he's saying and what he's not saying. Bear in mind, Senzo Mchunu is the minister that was implicated by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi in being pressured by alleged criminal underworld figures into disbanding the Political Killings Task Team. The Political Killings Task Team is the team that was looking into some high-profile cases, especially of murder going on in both KZN and Gauteng. So have a look at this clip of what Senzo Mchunu said in response.
Mr. Mchunu, final one on this particular aspect. These allegations, as we would appreciate, are quite serious for a person who occupies this very senior position in government that is meant to fight crime and corruption. I guess the concern that South Africans have is that, are you guilty, or you dispute all these allegations that have been leveled against you?
Well, let's wait for the commission, but from where I stand, I am innocent of those, and I deny them very strongly. But let's wait for the commission. And by the way, I must say that I've got lawyers, I've engaged lawyers on this matter, and by and large, the matter is on course. And I request that all of us in the country, including media, and I must say to you, my feeling is that media have already passed judgment without hearing the other side. But let's wait for the day.
In terms of the criminal investigations that is against you, you welcome that as well?
With both hands. With both hands. With both hands. But let's wait for the day. Because the day is coming when the other side will have a day and have a say on all these matters. And I'm looking forward exactly to that.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mchunu.
Thank you.
So I would encourage you to watch that full interview on SABC. But what I found interesting there is that Minister Mchunu, who's been placed on special leave and is involved in this sea of allegations, is not coming out and immediately refuting the allegations, especially in public. Rather, what he's saying is he denies them, but let's wait for the commission. Now, he also said earlier in that interview, and I think it is an important point, that we need to hear both sides of this before we finally make up our minds. And I certainly agree with that. That's a fundamental tenet of legal fairness, is you hear one side, then you hear the other side, and only then do you make up your mind. But here's the thing. You need to help us make up our minds, and quickly, because deferring things and kicking things into the future makes it seem like you are actually buying time to try and deflect from the real story. Because it would have been very easy to come out and refute some of these allegations, right? To say, no, I don't know this person that I'm being accused of being influenced by at all. Here are the records. I don't know them. We already know that's not true because he has admitted to knowing this person. The disbanding of the Political Killings Task Team, we know that happened, and I'm going to take you to some evidence now, because in these court papers before the Constitutional Court, Mchunu has actually responded in a different way than he's responded in public. And he says this: General Mkhwanazi had ample time to liaise with me and afford me a right to respond to any concerns. And before he went to the public domain and made his extravagant and misinformed allegations, I deny the allegations of improper conduct leveled against me by Mkhwanazi. Again, this is an extract from court papers, but we're not getting a sense of why these things are wrong. We have a denial and we have a procedural problem. But are the allegations themselves untrue or incorrect? And in the absence of the minister being able to tell us that in the public domain, it's very hard not to draw the conclusion that there must be some form of credence to this, because it would be very easy to dispute publicly immediately if there wasn't any truth to it. So I do agree that we need to wait for the commission. We need to wait to hear all sides of this. But we live in an information highway that's moving at the speed of light and AI. And you can't wait 6 months for people to speculate if you have information at your disposal which disproves and refutes allegations. And Mkhwanazi made his allegations in the public sphere. If Mchunu wants to rebuild his reputation, there's only one way: to do it in the public sphere and quickly. Otherwise, speculation will run rife, and the horse may have bolted by the time the commission even starts. So it is interesting to see what kind of responses Mchunu has been making. He also said, I was taken by complete surprise on July 6th. So he had no idea of Mkhwanazi's, this is reporting in News 24, by the way, no idea of Mkhwanazi's press conference and the serious allegations. So again, what we have from Mchunu is procedural problems, unfairness, and people not being able to hear his side, but we haven't yet got a full refutation of Mkhwanazi's claims, and this is what's giving increasing legitimacy to those claims. Right. So in the second part of this video, then, I want to move on to some interesting reporting and some interesting comments. Now, the first is about Brown Mogotsi. Some interesting reporting coming out of Daily Maverick. Yay! Daily Maverick is even criticizing the president these days. Wow. How times have changed, man. The new dawn is far behind us. But there was an interesting article actually by Rebecca Davis, which tied Brown Mogotsi, remember this is the person who is allegedly influencing Minister Senzo Mchunu to disband the Political Killings Task Team, who he denied knowing, but later said that he did know, as a comrade. This Brown Mogotsi, who seems to be an intermediary, playing an intermediary role between some alleged underworld figures and Mchunu, so senior politicians, playing that middleman role, was tied to the 2017 Cyril Ramaphosa campaign, and we now know that he was an active member of that campaign. So, it's just further confirmation, and the president has not said anything about this. I don't even think he's been fully asked about this in public, but it does tend to suggest that we would need to know about this at the commission as well. And that's why I think the question of who the witnesses at this commission will be is key. Now, let's go to the commission, because I want to speak about some things that the head of the commission, Justice Madlanga, said in a press conference. So he said, check out the following thing about where the commission is heading.
To be specific, our first consultation with a witness is imminent. That consultation will help inform what further information the Commission must follow up on. We are mindful of the fact that South Africa is eager to see the first witness in the witness stand. We too are keen to see that happen.
So, there's Justice Madlanga saying the commission is starting soon, saying they're ready to go, they want to get started soon. Of course, they can't start immediately. But very interestingly, Justice Madlanga then went on to say, okay, we are going to do a consultation with some important people immediately. And I have reason to believe, and you'll see from further clips, that he'll be speaking to General Mkhwanazi, which is a positive sign, to get a sense, just consult him on some of the things he said and potentially probe some of his claims. Have a look firstly at him talking about who he thinks could be the first witness, and keep General Mkhwanazi in the back of your mind.
I think I should just be open with the South African public and say that the imminent consultation that I referred to is going to be with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
So there you have it. There will be a consultation with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and the commission will be meeting with him to understand in more depth his allegations, and then we'll see who the first witness is. Now, one of the rather worrying aspects of this press conference in terms of timeframes is when Justice Madlanga was asked whether he believes the 6 months that's in the terms of reference is an appropriate time frame for this commission. And I mean, I've been saying this in many videos, but just because there's terms of reference that give a certain date doesn't mean there can't be an extension. The commission can't apply for an extension. They can even go to court to get an extension. Have a look at this in terms of whether we are going to get a final report within 6 months.
The timelines, the 6-month period for completing the work of the commission. Let me be upfront and say, just looking at the allegations that were made on the 6th of July, they seem to cover quite a wide spectrum. And in consultations and investigations are likely to yield a lot more than what was referred to in the allegations of the 6th of July. So the timelines, I must say, do appear to be quite tight.
It's going to take 5 years, isn't it? Yep, we're back here. And I mean, Justice Madlanga's right. It's a very extensive investigation, but yeah, any hope of this being fast, I think, is already beginning to recede, and I see us being here in 12 months from the commission start, at least. But let's see what happens from there. So we've got Justice Madlanga and his press conference that illuminated quite a lot. He also explained that there are some new people on the team. So in addition to the two others that we spoke about in a previous episode, we've got new evidence leaders and investigators. I wanted to point out some key figures. So the chief evidence leader is Advocate Terry Modau, SC, incredible advocate, someone who is responsible, interestingly, for writing the VBS report that caused such a clamor. And a well-known SC. So he's the chief evidence leader. We've also got people on the team. Advocate Matthew Chaskelson, SC, well-known Silk, who was involved in the Zondo Commission, acted on the Constitutional Court, I believe, as well. And of course, we've got Adila Hasim, well known for her work at the ICJ. So this is a heavy-hitting team, I won't lie. And it's encouraging to see that these people have stepped up and really are making a public contribution. So I salute them for deciding to do it. Another interesting figure in this team, Advocate Mahlape Selo, SC, guess what she co-authored? The Phala Phala report with former Chief Justice Ngobo, which said that Parliament should have inquired into Phala Phala. So she not only brings legal skill, but clearly a lot of bravery. So yeah, interesting collection of legal practitioners there. And yeah, more to come as we see exactly how this commission unfolds. Rest assured, we will be there every step of the way. That first witness, we're going to analyze the testimony. We're going to follow the commission. We're going to follow the threads and follow the leads for you, as we have been doing up to this point.
Ready to take your podcast to the next level? At Ayeye Studios, you can film, edit, and release your podcast all in one place. From crisp visuals to clean sound, we've got you covered, and we can even distribute your podcast on YouTube and other platforms. The best part? It's brought to you by the same team that brings you SMWX quality. Are you ready to take your podcast to the next level? Welcome to Ayeye Studios.
Great. So one question that I've constantly been asking is, will President Ramaphosa testify at this commission, which I believe he should? And if he does, there are a couple of questions off the bat that need to be asked. The first relates to, as I say, Brown Mogotsi, who is accused of playing this intermediary role. He was a member of the CR17 campaign, as I say. So the first set of questions that I would ask would be, Mr. President, is it correct that you ran for ANC president in 2017? Yes. And there was a campaign, the CR17 campaign, which was the campaign behind your election. Yes. Brown Mogotsi was a member of that campaign. Yes or no? If he was, did you know that he was a member? Have you ever had dealings with him? Do you regret that you now this person who campaigned for you? So as you can see, there are quite a lot of. So there's that set of questions. There's the set of questions about. And this is on the DJ Sumbody side, also the Vusumuzi Kat Matlala side, and then also there's so many links and connections here. But to go back to the Tembisa Hospital situation, where there was alleged tender fraud there, and a whistleblower was tragically killed, there was some reporting at the time which linked Vusumuzi Kat Matlala to a person by the name of Hangwani Maumela, which at least one publication, a medical news publication, I believe, said at one point was a co-owner of Cat VIP. This is the VIP protection service that Kat Matlala owned. Now remember, Kat Matlala is the person who allegedly was trying to influence Senzo Mchunu to disband the political killings task team, and is currently in court on attempted murder of his former girlfriend, and is in turn linked to some of the arms and hitmen who were involved in some of these high-profile killings. Now, Kat Matlala was apparently, as I say, according to one health publication, needs to be further verified, with a Hangwani Maumela, who this publication suggests is the nephew of Cyril Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa has denied this. In a parliamentary question around this Tembisa hospital time asked by John Steenhuisen, back when the DA was an opposition party, they asked him, do you know this person who has been linked because there's an allegation that they're your nephew? And he said, no, I don't know this person. As far as I'm aware, on the public record, Mr. Maumela has not commented on this, whether he is relation or not. But again, one thing for the commission at that point would obviously be, do any of your members of your family have connection to Mr. Matlala, etc.? So that would be a set of questions. Another set of questions would be, and this is maybe the most pertinent set of questions, is around what did you know about the disbanding of the political killings task team? Because it would be quite hard to believe that a task team this central to law enforcement would be disbanded without the knowledge of the president. So what I would also want to know is, Mr. President, you agree that the political killings task team was disbanded in such and such a date, correct? You serve on the security cluster, correct? You chair meetings of the security cluster, correct? You were aware that it was disbanded? If he says yes, okay, then what did you do about the disbanding? Or there was an attempt to disband it, rather. What did you do about that? If you weren't aware, why weren't you aware? So I do think there's a strong case that at least, if not the first witness, one of the witnesses, just like at the State Capture Commission, should be the president himself. And I think everyone, Deputy President, of course Senzo Mchunu, of course Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, of course Shadrach Sibia, of course the police commissioner. So those are some obvious names. And then, would it be possible to get Vusimuzi Kat Matlala at the commission? Because he also deserves to have his say and put his point across. Brown Mogotsi should be there too. So you can already see that there are a lot of names that we should be seeing there. And I don't think there should be any holy cows in this inquiry. And that will mean some bravery on the commission on its part in calling people right from the very top all the way down and following the chain. What would be hectic is if more of these links between, for example, the DJ Sumbody case, I see there's been a recent, now those same firearms and hitmen who are involved in DJ Sumbody have been involved in the murder of yet another person. Oratile, can you remind me of the name of that? There's a new DJ Ventos, who's been linked to the same hitmen and same firearms, if I'm not mistaken, as the DJ Sumbody case. And so as this web of celebrity killings grows, also the political web and the Mkhwanazi allegations grow. And we'll just have to see if at the commission some of these links get drawn together and the links between high-profile celebrity killings and some of this political interference becomes clearer and more obvious. And goodness, if it does, this is not just going to be the story of the year, it's going to be the story of the decade, actually. But let's wait to see. So effectively, we've taken some further steps in our understanding of this Mkhwanazi saga. It started with the bombshell allegations that were made in that press conference. We then had people scrambling around, the president then deciding to place Minister Mchunu on special leave and appoint a commission. There's a court case coming up about all of those decisions, which we'll see at the Constitutional Court this week, and I would advise you to watch that. Full disclaimer, my father will happen to be representing one of the sides in that case. And after that, in terms of that legal process, we also are getting these insights into some of the high-profile celebrity killings. In addition to that, we're getting information on the commission itself and when its work is going to start. So that's a full roundup of where we are right now. And of course, as soon as developments evolve, I'll be right here to help you through it. I would encourage you to watch all of the recent episodes of SMWX because we've dealt extensively with this. Check out also my recent interviews, one with Malesela Tefo, which has got a lot of people talking, and the other one with Prince Mashele. Call to action, we're trying to get that video to 1 million views. It'll be our first ever 1 million view episode. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you do watch that, share it with as many people, and let's get to 1 million views. Also, shout out to all the people who are increasingly listening on podcast platforms. If you're watching this, by the way, you can also listen on podcast platforms. So go and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and please give us a rating on podcast platforms as well. Share this with your friends. Share this with your family. Let's continue the conversation. The comments on this channel are getting lit, and I'm realizing more and more that the comments are also a peer review mechanism, because anytime I put a foot wrong, someone in the comments will be like, no, it's not this, it's this. And that's great. That's great for public discourse, for clarity, for making sure if I make a mistake, I'm checked. So make sure you check down in the comments, because there's often a robust and interesting conversation down there about the facts of the issues. And as Gogo Aubrey Machikri said, don't take your news from one source, even if that source is just me. Make sure you get a diverse range of views. And I'm here to analyze the news and help you think your way through it. Like, share, subscribe. Help us reach 300,000 subscribers. And keep it locked, as always, on the Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh Experience, or SMWX. Aye. First came the bombshell allegations. Now the commission has spoken. Come on, man. My team, man.